So we're talking about the breaking news that's been going on. And there's a lot of breaking news.
Newsflash. Newsflash.
I love my sound effects. So yeah, let's go straight to, Joe Biden, the former vice president under Obama, decided that he wants to ask President Obama for an endorsement. No, that's not what he actually said. What he actually said is, and this is being quoted by the Free Beacon, it came out today, about 11:22 a.m., about 2 hours ago. He mentioned that he asked President Obama not to endorse him, that he wanted to make sure that the election was fair and that everyone had an equal chance. And if you believe that, pigs fly. The moon is made of green cheese. Let's be honest. That is not true. That is not true. There is no candidate running for any election that is going to deny a high-profile endorsement. None. No one ever has run for anything, including Joe Biden, in his many years in office, elected office, has never said, don't endorse me. I mean, unless you're talking about David Duke, and by the way, many Democrats did go for his endorsement, as well as many other members of the KKK, including Senator Byrd, as I recall, when he was a Democrat. They loved his endorsement. But other than maybe the KKK, I can't imagine them saying no. I mean, there are Democrats, Keith Ellison, Ilhan Omar, who have gone out there and they look for the Farrakhan of the, what's his name, Reverend Farrakhan, who's been endorsing many of the Democrats. They follow him. They ask for his endorsement. And you mean to tell me that the ever so beloved Barack Obama, one of the champions of the far left and the progressive movement and the Democrats, he's saying he doesn't want his endorsement? Are you kidding me? Of course he wants his endorsement. He didn't get it. That's a different statement. But he's saying that he asked him not to endorse him? No. That's a way to cover it up. And the media is probably going to run with that and say, well, of course, Joe Biden, what a fair and honest guy. It's honest Joe. To get away from the idea that he's creepy Joe, who has been alleged to be inappropriate, not sexually inappropriate, not Me Too inappropriate, but inappropriate with many, many women throughout his many decades in elected office. And he doesn't want an endorsement from President Obama. Of course he does. Every one of the presidential candidates want that. This is a first I've ever seen in politics, and it is so absurd. It is insulting. It is insulting to the general public to say he didn't want an endorsement from one of the most high-profile individuals in American politics in the last 20 years. That's like saying you don't want Bill Clinton's endorsement. Democrats want that. Of course they do. And that's to bring in money. So he's lying. But he has other problems that are also going on. And again, this is breaking news. Out of the Daily Caller, the article is Justice Democrats promises to oppose Joe Biden's presidential bid. That also was about 2 hours ago that the news broke. And here's the thing. The Justice Democrats under Kevin Robillard put out a tweet that said, the new Justice Dems say they'll oppose Joe Biden's presidential bid, at least in the primary. Quote, while we're going to support the Democratic nominee, we can't let a so-called centrist like Joe Biden divide the Democratic Party and turn it into the party of, quote, no, we can't, end quote. This is what the Democrats are saying. The Democrats are killing each other because Joe Biden is not progressive enough for the Justice Democrats. By the way, if you're wondering who are the Justice Democrats, they are the socialists. They are the Democratic Socialists. They are Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. In particular, the Justice Democrats were run by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her campaign manager, and which has its own issues. In fact, they have an issue pending with the FEC for campaign violations, paying her boyfriend through campaign funds. There's a lot of issues with the Justice Democrats, but if you want to know who they are Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They are the fringe of the far left. They are the furthest left of the Democratic Party. They're Bernie Sanders. They're socialists. And socialists are saying that Joe Biden is far too centrist for their taste and that they oppose the centrist point of view, that everyone needs to be, basically, they're looking for everyone to be more of a socialist. They want socialism in America. I would be concerned if I was a rank and file Democrat hearing that and saying being centrist, being middle of the road, being willing to compromise, that's out the window. No. What Democrats want now is to have post-birth abortions. They want to have no guns in America. They want everyone to make the same amount of money. Everyone needs to be in a union. There are no businesses. They want socialism. This is what they're asking for. This is what they're saying. And it's reinforcing a thought that we've heard before, because just 4 days ago, just 4 days ago, it was the New York Times that was telling us and asking the question, should a white man be the face of the Democratic Party in 2020? Really? That's their big question. And they were asking it about Bernie Sanders, but guess what? The old white men are in the Democratic Party. That's Joe Biden, that's Bernie Sanders, and white men in particular, Beto O'Rourke, who is really, his real name is Robert O'Rourke. These are the men who lead in the Democratic Party. And I'm not just saying it for me. Go and check out the various polls out there. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, and Beto O'Rourke. There's your top leaders right now, and they bounce around a little bit. Then it's followed by Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, and Cory Booker, and Andrew Yang, of course. But you have to ask the question, is that really accurate? Is that what rank and file Democrats believe? That white men are so evil, even in the Democratic Party, that they can't be supported? That being a centrist, which Joe Biden is no centrist. He is no centrist. Remember, he's the one who opposed 32. He helped create 32 Obama-era executive orders to get rid of the Second Amendment. Joe Biden's the guy who Democrats lauded for so many years, even as he made every gaffe talking about every race out there and insulting everyone. He's the creepy Joe. I don't know. This is amazing to me. It's amazing to me. Democrats can't. This is why I say it's going to be an all-woman ticket, because men have been denounced by the Democratic Party. That's why Beto O'Rourke has to apologize for being white. Why Joe Biden apologized for being white and being rich. Why Bernie Sanders is giving every excuse in the world for being a millionaire and not making donations and having 3 houses. Because the mainstream, the message that has been pumped out for decades now is to say that anyone who has that much wealth, anyone who is that old, anyone who has been part of politics that long, they must be evil. Well, guess what? This is the Democrats who are falling into this trap. That's what they are. And they hate their own people. And think about that. If Democrats, if the Justice Democrats, the Democratic Socialists, the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omars of the world, if they can't stand their own party leaders, that would be Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, if they can't stand them, and those individuals aren't good enough to equal the qualifications the Democrats demand everyone must fall under, how are you going to do? How would you, Joe Average, who has none of the wealth, none of the political power, none of the influence, how would they treat you? That's a really good question that really needs to be asked. If they think that being a centrist is a bad thing and is unworthy of the Democratic Party nomination, what do they think of the rank and file Democrats? I mean, has anyone really stopped to ask that question? And remember, Joe has a bunch of issues, not only because he's rank and file, Not only because he's just a regular Democrat, an old-fashioned Democrat. Remember that Joe Biden also doesn't like sanctuary cities. This was from back in 2015. I know in political circles that's ancient. And this comes from the Washington Examiner. And the article's titled, When Clinton, Obama, and Biden Debated Sanctuary Cities. And it's going to come back to bite Biden because it was debate. There was a debate on September 26th of 2007 at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. And at the time, Biden was running for president on the Democratic ticket. And he was asked if he would allow cities to ignore federal law to be sanctuary cities. And his answer, once pressed on it, he tried to avoid answering it. Clinton avoided the question. Then Senator Obama avoided the question. But Joe Biden answered the question with no. No. He would not ignore it. He would not allow cities to ignore federal law and be sanctuary cities. Wow. Well, that explains why the Justice Democrats are against him. He doesn't support the illegal aliens that have entered our nation. He doesn't support picking and choosing which laws to follow on any given day. An absolute tenet and an absolute mandatory requirement of Democrats from the far fringe. This is something that political leaders of tomorrow, Citizen Action and Antifa, this is what they support. The far left fringe ideas that you can pick and choose which laws you want to follow. And if you happen to be a person of color, if you happen to be a woman, if you happen to be transgendered or gay, well, then you can just ignore certain laws altogether. That's the policies the Democrats are putting out there. And to sweeten the deal, Democrats are offering to give you free stuff. Elizabeth Warren's going to give you free college. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going to give you free energy, and you're going to get a free job, and you're going to get a free pay. Andrew Yang, you're going to get free money. None of this is free, and you never get what they offer. Red flag laws and gun control, 22,000 gun control laws, have not made anyone safer. It has not stopped criminals or the deranged. We see this over and over again. You didn't get better health care because you've got Obamacare. The majority of America did not help. You had higher deductibles that you can't afford. You got to lose your doctor and the health care that you did like. And now they want to go to single payer, which would eliminate all health care programs. You don't get to have private insurance. You get to have the same insurance as everyone else, which, ask the average veteran at the VA how well that's working for them. Did we forget that under Joe Biden and under President Obama, we had 2 VA scandals where veterans were dying because they couldn't get to see a doctor. And this is what the Democrats are telling you should have. The ability to have the same coverage as veterans where they died waiting for coverage. How well will that work for America? These are questions that really need to be asked of all of these Democratic candidates. We're not hearing these questions. We're not hearing the media ask these things, which are important and essential. You want to run America. Do you believe in sanctuary cities? We need to ask Joe Biden that question again. Do you support sanctuary cities? In 2007, he said no. Here it is, 2019. He wants to run for president. Are you now taking the side of illegal aliens over American citizens and the law of the land and allow cities and counties and states to ignore the law and do whatever they want? Does Joe Biden believe that? Does Joe Biden believe that every white person in America, male or female, should apologize for their race? Should straight individuals apologize for their sexual preference? Where does the line end? Who gets to choose what is important and what is something you should apologize for and something you should not? We should ask these questions. Who's going to pay for this free college, which isn't really free? Who's going to pay for the single-payer health care? These are really important questions. Why is no one asking these things? Why is the mainstream media selling the idea that you're going to get free stuff? It's all going to be free and it'll be better. And yet not ask the questions, what are the consequences of this? How does this get done? Who gets to decide who are the people who are preferred? Why are we supporting segregation? Because that's what this is. If you are preferring people who are not white over people who are white, or with Cory Booker, you're preferring women and a gender over other genders, that's segregation. That's discrimination. By definition, it is discrimination. Cory Booker eliminated all men, possibly all transgendered, everyone who is gay, because only women can be his vice president. Why? Please explain to me why it must be a woman and no other person is qualified enough in the entirety of the United States. I'm not saying that it can't be a woman, but why would you eliminate that pool of people? Why? Why aren't we asking Elizabeth Warren, how are you making these decisions? What's the economic impact of all of this? Why aren't we asking Joe Biden some very serious questions? Serious questions about where he plans to take this nation. What does he really believe? Does he follow the rest of the trend and say that America has to become a socialist nation? Because I think these are important. And I have to say, this is why I think if it continues down this path, I think the Democrats absolutely lose, which I'm not sad about at all. I'm happy. And I want them to continue down this path because I think most of America would agree with me. These are bad ideas. They have no idea what they're doing and no idea the consequences of their actions. And they want to take away our freedoms, not add to them. They don't want you to be more free. They want you to be more subservient. They want you to fall in line with what they think is best for you because government knows better than you do. And that's what they always offer, more government. More government means you're better. And I'm sorry, that has never been proven to be true. More government has never made anything better. Government doesn't make life better. Government makes problems. Now I'm going to be talking about this and a lot of other things this weekend at the Liberty Weekend. I will be there on the 27th. I will be doing an interview with Larry Sharp, who will be speaking at the event at 1 o'clock on the 27th. At 3:30, I'll be doing an interview with Larry Sharp. On the 28th at 2 p.m., I will be giving a speech which will cover red flags, the Constitution, the consequences of some of the things that are being proposed and enforced down our throats. And I'm also going to be taking questions from you. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say and what you think and your questions on anything that I've covered over the last 12 years. And this is being brought to you by the Binghamton University College Libertarians and the Binghamton University College Republicans jointly. And so this should be a great event. And I really hope people come to see this because this is an opportunity to learn about different points of view. I know a lot of college students, a lot of people who just look at headlines and the social media and the memes. You don't get to hear the other side. You don't get to hear other people's ideas. You don't get to see what really is going on. Get a full idea. You don't have to agree with me. That's not the point of the event. We're not here to change your minds. And that's why I'm so happy I was invited to this event that includes libertarians and conservatives and Republicans and everyone else. And I hope the media comes down, as I've invited them, to hear what all the different sides have to say. Because it's not about what one person thinks. It's about all of us working together, about hearing all of the different ideas and working with the best parts of all of it. It's not like Cory Booker saying, well, only these people have the right idea. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Or saying that, or the Democratic Party saying only certain types of people are worthwhile. that we should only have certain categories of people, and everyone else should apologize for being born and being who they are. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. We are all worthwhile. We all benefit and give something. We need to have all ideas. And that's why I'm glad about this Liberty Weekend and why I'm looking forward to it so much. And I hope that you're going to be there with us. But remember that every Tuesday, I know